84 plus. So I
Okay.
go to normal
Okay.
CDF and it goes into another screen. On the lower,
Okay.
it's already
So I'm
empty.
going to do this right now too. I'm going to go. I have a TI 84 plus too. So we're going to go to normal CDF, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You have that -1 E -9. Okay. You can
Yes.
leave it like that. You can leave it
Okay.
like that if you want to,
Okay. So
and
the
then
only
just go to
I
your
fill in is the upper then.
just the upper. So you would go -1.91. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to leave everything else alone. So you're just going to hit enter, enter, enter,
Mm-hmm. Where it says paste,
and
and then it'll give me the answer. Yes.
it'll give you the answer. Yeah. So if you do it right now, like I just did it on my calculator, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming up with 0.02806, which is
Yes.
what we had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So guys, I wasn't recording. So oh yeah, I am recording. Okay, so we're good. I wasn't sure if I was recording or not. So look, let me share what I want to do, y'all, real quick before we go on. I'm gonna share. Oh man, where did it go? Did I get out of there? I may have. Let me come back. Here we go. Let's see. I want to share the. It's okay. So I went back to number 7, and it's given me a new value. Okay, so I was going to enter it in on my lab so we could see it, but now when I went back to number 7, it was giving me a different particular problem. Um, yeah, it keeps changing it for me. But I'll tell you what. Let's take a look at, like, say, number. Okay, I'm going to do number 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little copy and paste here, and we'll do number 8, and we'll do it the same way. So let me put this here again in my notes, and I'll share my notes with you guys so you can see what it is I'm looking at. So let's come back here, window, notes, boom. And okay, here we go. We got it. So this one says, let's find the area under the standard normal curve, and this one is telling me to the right of -2.76. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna draw my basic picture. It looks something like this. I know right in the middle, here's z equals 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. We're looking for the number -2.76, so that's going to be somewhere right about here. But we're looking for the area to the right. Okay, so I'm really looking for the area this way. Now, the one thing I want to remind us is that if I'm going to use my table always tells me the area to the left. Okay, so if I was going to use my table, okay, and what my table would tell me was, my table would tell me the area over here, and that's okay. We can do that. Okay, so look, let me show you how I'm going to do it using the table. The number we're looking for is -2.76. So what I'm going to do real quick here, y'all, is I'm going to stop sharing this part here. I am going to share the table again, though. Let me see if I can pull it up. Here we go. And I think you guys can see the table now. Yes. And we're looking for -2.76. See, here's -2.7, -2.76 is right here. So I'm coming up with 0.0029. So let me stop sharing this part. Let me come back to my notes. And we found that the area over here is 0.0029. So, but remember, we're really looking for the area to the right. So the one thing I remember, y'all, is that the total area is equal to 1. Let's see, I think I heard something in the chat. Let's see. Okay, how did I know that was the answer in the chart? Good question, Christine. Let me come back and let me show you how I came up with that number. Okay, so I'm glad you asked. Let me stop sharing this. Let me come back um, to the chart that we had. Remember the number we're looking for? -2.76. Okay, so here it is. And I want to show you. See, here's the -2.7. Now look at the numbers at the top. The numbers at the top are going to tell me what is the second number in my, or the number in my second decimal place. So if I were to use this first number, this would be -2.79, because here's a -2.7, and the second number here is a 9. I'm looking for negative 2.76. So really what I'm doing is I'm saying, look, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to stop because that's where these two numbers meet up. Does that make sense on how I'm able to figure that part out?
No, it doesn't. I'm still kind of like, I don't, what do you mean that it's the number?
Okay,
Like, okay,
yeah. So
pick a different number and then show me.
yeah. Let me show you again real quick. So again, we can get the idea here. So let me try something real quick here. Okay, so I'm gonna go like this. Okay, and let me copy this here. And let me come back to this part here. Let me paste it here. Let me stop sharing that. And I'm going to come back and share the notes again. And what I did here, Christine, I just kind of copied and put the same thing in here so that I can write on it, okay? So remember, the number we're looking for is negative 2.76. So do you see how that's negative 2.7 right there, right where I'm pointing? And then do you see right here how that is a 0.06? So where those two are going to meet, which is right here, this is telling me the value at negative 2.76 because
Oh,
I can.
okay.
Does that make more sense now?
Yeah, that makes more sense. I think I
Okay.
needed to just like
Yeah.
put it
Yeah.
frozen.
No. It's again. It's told guys. If we were in person, it would be so much easier because I'm trying to kind of talk you through it, but it's much better when we can actually see it. So that's right. So look, Christine, just to make sure that we're good, we're going to just do like a little side note. So we're going to go like this. Side note. Okay, suppose we wanted to find, I'm going to make this up, the value at negative 2.402. What I would do is say, look, here's negative 2.4, here's 0.02. So that value right there would be 0.0078. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. Is this
Okay.
chart
No. We're
for
good. We're good. Again, I wanted to make sure you guys were good with this stuff, right?
is that
Okay.
chart
So
the
guys,
same on every problem?
huh?
That chart is the same on
Uh-huh.
every single problem?
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the table. So like, look, let me show you something real quick. Let me stop sharing this screen real quick, y'all. And I'm going to share something else with you guys so you can see what I'm looking at. Here we go. Okay, so number one, I put the table in the weekly activities folder. So you'll have access to that table. It's like if you click on the week 7, there's a link there for the table, and the same thing in week 8. But when you're doing your problems, if you click on this right here, I don't know if this is, yeah, it comes up right up here for us too. So you can still get the table every one of the problems. You don't actually have to have it saved anywhere else. But whatever works easier for you guys. But the table will definitely be there as you're going through these problems. Okay. So look, let me stop sharing this part and let's come back to our notes where we were right here. Okay. So remember what we said? We said that when we're using the table, and this part is really, really important, y'all, that the table always tells me the area to the left every single time. So when we got that number and we came up with a 0.0029, that really told me the area over here. But I remember that the total area is always equal to the number 1. So if I want to find, say, this area right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, look, if I want to find the area to the right, so let me write it like this. If I want to find the area to the right of negative 2.76, I'm going to take 1 because that's the total area, and I'm going to subtract this number right here. So I'm just going to do that on my calculator, y'all. And I'm just doing that like on my phone calculator, nothing too special. Where is it? Here we go. 1 minus 0.0029. And I'm coming up with 0.9971. So we would say the area here would be 0.9971. And again, this was doing it using our table, right? Okay, now suppose we didn't want to use the table, and suppose we wanted to use our calculator. So if I was going to use my calculator, let me show you how I would do this. So these are now, let me make this a little bit darker. Where are you? There you go. So these are the steps that I'm going to use on my calculator. Okay. We're going to go second in vars because we want to get to the normal CDF. Remember, y'all, we're going to have two numbers. One of them is going to be the lower limit, and one of them is going to be the upper limit. Okay. So look, remember what we're looking for. We were looking for the area to the right. Okay. So I want you to notice what I'm finding. I'm really finding the area in the red, right? That's really where I'm finding. So I want you to notice, where are we starting off at? Well, we're starting off at 2.7 or negative 2.76. That's going to be my lower limit. Okay. So I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to say, look, my lower limit is going to be a negative 2.76. And because we are going all the way to the right forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, remember we said as soon if we keep going this way, what do we approach? We approach the idea of infinity, but because infinity doesn't really have a number, we can't put, use a number for an infinity. I'm going to use a bunch of nines. Like how much is a bunch? I would say at least 4. So I want to show you that when I do this on my calculator right here, y'all, this normal CDF, we should come up with that answer right there. So look, I'm going to stop sharing this part right here with you guys, and I'm going to share my calculator. And let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Okay, so here's my calculator. Let me turn it on. We're going to go second and then vars. We're going to go down our normal CDF. We said that our lower limit was a negative 2.76. So Eric, you were asking me earlier, do I need to change? In this case, yeah, we would need to change that lower limit, right?
Yes, sir. I just noted it so I don't get lost.
Okay, good. And then our upper limit was a whole bunch of nines. I put 5, we put 4. And we're going to hit enter. And if you notice, we're coming up with 0.9971, which I think was the same answer that we did when we did it using the table, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So y'all, the one thing I really want to emphasize here is how you do the problem is really up to you. Let me stop sharing this. Let me come back to my notes. Here we go. And let me see, it should, there we go. So if you notice, no matter which way we do it, we're still coming up with that 0.9971. I told you a little while ago, sometimes some people find it easier to use one method opposed to another one. Some people say, you know what, I love using the calculator because I know what I can, by looking at my picture right here, I can dictate what's my lower limit, what's my upper limit. I'm going to go second vars. I'm going to go normal CDF. I'm going to plug that in, and I'm going to get my answer. And we did the same thing when we did this one too, right? I know I'm kind of zooming in and out a lot, but we did this one too. We said, look, our lower limit was that, our upper limit was that, and we got the answer the same way. Some people love doing the calculator. So guys, right before the pandemic hit, or the semester before, the fall of 19, where's my pen? Why is it not working? Here we go. So in the fall of 19, when I taught this class, I taught it at night. It was like from 7 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night, twice a week. And I had quite a few older students. They were old, but they were closer to my age, in the 30s and the 40s, that kind of thing. And a lot of those students didn't like the calculator, and they preferred the table. My point is that however you decide to do it, we're going to come up with the same answer. It's just whatever you feel more comfortable using. Okay, so look, let me stop sharing this, and I'm going to share my homework tab. So here it is. Okay, and we said the number we came up with. Notice what it tells me to do right here, y'all. Round to 4 decimal places. So I'm going to go 0.9971, and we're going to go check our answer, and we got it, right? So again, you really have a whole lot of options on how you do these problems, okay? Let me show you another one. And again, I'm going to show you 2 ways, and I'll let you decide which one you feel is easier. So let me copy this part, and I will put it in our notes so that we can figure out how we're going to do it. And let me see. Let me come down here. Okay, and then let me share my notes with you guys so you can see exactly what it is I'm looking at. All right. And so it says, let's see, find the area indicated under the standard normal curve. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, before I even look at anything, I'm going to draw my picture. Here's my picture. Here's my normal curve. All right, I know right in the middle, this is 0, and then we have 1 and 2 and 3. And over here we have -1 and -2 and -3. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the area between z equals 0 and z equals 2.13. So I'm looking for the area between here and say right here, where that number is 2.13. I'm trying to find this area. So Eric and Christine, since y'all are here and this is like the third one we've done like this, what do you guys find easier to do? Do y'all find the calculator easier or do you find the chart easier? Anybody?
The calculator.
Calculator works for you, Christine?
I think the chart.
Okay, so look, I'll tell you what, we're going to do both. Okay, again, like I said, y'all, there really is no right and no wrong way to do this, right? So I'm going to show you guys doing the table, the chart, and then we're going to go do this using the calculator. And again, guys, the one thing I want to emphasize, I know we've only done 2 like this. As we do more, sometimes you might say, you know what, I do like the chart better. Or sometimes you might say, oh, you know what, I do like the calculator better. Okay, so look, we're going to go with the table. And again, one thing I want to remind us, y'all, the table always tells me the area to the left. So if we were to put the number being 0, that would give me the area to the left over here, right? So look, let's do this for when z equals 0. So let me pull up the chart for you guys so we can see this. So at z equals 0, let me stop sharing that. Let me come back and share. Where is it? Here we go. Window, where's my table? Here we go. Okay, so we're looking for z equals 0. Okay, here we go. Oops. Here we go. So I don't know if it let me do anything here. Oh, look, there we go. At z equals 0, the area to the left is 5. Okay, so look, I'm going to stop, or 0.5. I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to look at my notes again. And Christine, are you okay how we came up with 0.5?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, look, I'm going to come back just so you can take one more look at it, just so you can see how I did that. So look, all I'm doing here, Christine, I'm just pulling up my table, okay? And it's the same one that I shared with you guys in the week 7 folder and week 8 folder. It pulls up. So if you notice here, look at my Z numbers. My Z numbers here are all negative, right? But then if I come right here, here's when my Z number is 0. And so remember, it's also 0.0 over there. So my number that I would be using would be that one right there, right? Because I want it to be exactly Z equals 0, right? So not 0 point anything, but 0.0 like that. So that's how I'm coming up with that 0.5 business right there, okay? So look, let me stop sharing that part and let me come back to my table. Okay, so now we found the area to right here to be 0.5. Now, since we're trying to find the area in the green, right, what we need to do is we need to say, look, can I find the area, I'm going to use this in blue. Can I find the area to the left of 2.13? And yeah, we can. So look, let's use our table again to find the area to the left of 2.13. So again, I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to share my screen with you all with my table. Okay. So remember, we're looking for 2.13, right? So look, here's 2.1. oops, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. There we go. So 2.1 and 0.03, here we go. Here we go. So that number would be 0.9834. So Christine, am I good on how I'm coming up with the 0.9834 from the 2.13?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. All right, so look, let me stop sharing that. And then let me come back to my notes. Here we go. Okay, and oh my gosh, I just forgot the number. It was 0.9834. Okay, let me write it right here. So we found the area in the blue to be 0.9834. So if we really want to find, say, this area, the area in the green, which is only from here to here, I would say, look, I got to take 0.9834 and I got to subtract 0.500 because I'm only looking for this part right here. I don't want all of the blue. I want to take away this part. So that's why I would subtract those numbers. And if I do that on my calculator, again, I'm just going to do it real quick. 0.9834 minus 0.5000. And I'm coming up with a 0.4834. And so this is how I would do it using my table, right? I'm going to find the area over here, and then I'm going to find the area all of this, and I'm going to subtract those two so that we would only be left with this area right here, okay? Now, if you wanted to do this using the calculator, what we would do is, again, we're going to go second bars, and we're going to use our normal CDF, okay? Remember, y'all, we're going to have two numbers.
You're not sharing right now. If you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's coming up, isn't it? Can you see my screen, y'all? Can you see my notes?
I can.
You can,
Oh,
Christine? Is it?
okay. I'm gonna just refresh it because maybe it's just my end.
Okay. Yeah, maybe try that and see if that works. Let's see. Christine, are we good?
Yeah, it fixed.
Okay, awesome, good. So look, we have the lower limit, y'all, and then we have the upper limit. So
Yes.
think about this. I want you to look at the picture. Look at what my lower limit was. My lower limit was at 0. Where was my upper limit at?
2.13.
2.13. That's right. So look, we're going to use our calculator, y'all. We're going to go second bars, and then we're going to find the normal CDF, and those are the numbers we're going to use. So again, let me stop sharing this part with you guys. Go like that. Let's come back and let's pull up our calculator right here. Okay, so I'm going to turn mine on because it turned off on me. Clear it. So second in bars, normal CDF, we said 0, 2.13, and I'm going to hit enter, and I'm coming up with 0.4834, which I believe was the same answer we got when we did it using the table. So look, there it is, 0.4834. So again, whichever works for you is the way I want you to do it. So Eric, you said the calculator works better for you. Let's use the calculator. Christine, if the chart works better for you, let's use the chart. The one thing that's really important, y'all, whichever method I use, to me, the most important thing is going to be for me to draw my picture. Because when I draw my picture, then I can figure out what is my lower limit, what is my upper limit. Am I looking for the area to the left? Am I looking for the area to the right? And regardless if I use my calculator or if I use the table, the picture is going to be super, super helpful in helping me determine that part, okay? So look, let me just one more time, let me stop sharing that part right there, and I'm going to share again the actual homework problem, which was right here. and we came up with something like 0.4834, and we're going to go chickadee check, and and we got it. Are there any other questions you guys want me to go over? I know it's just kind of doing, I was kind of doing random problems here. Eric asked for number 7, so we did 7, we did 8, we did 9. If you guys want me to do 10, y'all, I'm happy to do 10. Y'all just let me know what you want to do. I'm here for you guys. I'm here to help y'all with any problems you guys have. If you want me to go through 10, I can do it. What do y'all say? You want me to do it? You want to try something different?
Is it the same as the one we just did?
Well, so look, I'll tell you what, let's do this problem so that we can figure out exactly what it is I'm trying to do.
Yeah, because this one says to the left and to the right.
Yeah, so look, let's do it this way. So again, I'm going to show you guys, let me see, let me copy this, let me come back over here, and let me paste this here, and then I'm going to share my screen with you guys so we can see what is going on.
I'd like to do one from 5.4. I would actually like to do one per section, like just.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely do that. So yeah, we can definitely. So Christine, let me ask you a question. Have you had a chance to go through like 5.1, 5.2, any of those yet? Remember, the only reason I'm asking you, the homework is due a week from today. So we like next Thursday, we'll definitely have time to answer some of those questions too, but I can definitely go over any of them that we have today. But look, I'll tell you what, let's do this one here, and then we can see if we can pick one from 5.2, and maybe we can pick one from 5.3, and then maybe next Thursday we can do one from 5.4, since we're kind of running short on time, okay? But I definitely want to answer, as many questions as I can. So guys, look, first thing I'm going to do, always draw my picture, right? And remember, right in the middle is 0, and then I got 1, 2, and 3, and -1, -2, and -3. So look, this question is asking me, can we find the area to the left of -1.05? So that would be looking for the area over here, and then to the right of +1.05. So this one here is a -1.05. This one here is a +1.05. And we're finding the area to the left and to the right. So, a couple ways you can do this, okay? The one thing I want to emphasize, y'all, is remember, this graph is what we call symmetric. So the area over here is 0.5 and the area over here is 0.5, right? So once I find this area here, or if I find that area there, to find both of them, all I got to do is double it, because it's going to be the same thing on either side. Okay, so if you were going to do this, say using the table, okay, using the table, we would go to z equals -1.05, because the table always tells me the area to the left, and that's what we would be finding right there, right? So look, I'm just going to scroll back up. I think I have it here. Oh no, I don't. Okay, I'm gonna use my table so you can see what I'm looking at. So let me stop sharing this, and let me come back to my table. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right here. And we're looking for the left of -1.05. So y'all, these are all positive numbers. So I'm going to scroll back up here. 1.05. So look, here's 1.0. Here's 0.05. So that area would be 0.1469, right? So I would say, look, let me stop sharing this. Let me come back to my notes. And we said the area here was 0.1469. So then that means the area over here is 0.1469. So then we would say the total area, the total area is 2 times 0.1469, which is, oh, I don't know. Let me grab my calculator real quick. 0.1469, 0.1469 times 2. And I'm coming up with 0.2938.
Yes.
Right. And Eric, did you do yours on the calculator?
I'm following you right now. I
Okay.
haven't done it yet.
Okay, no worries. So look, just so that you could see how you would do it using the calculator, y'all, you'd go normal CDF. Remember, if I'm all the way over here to the left, my lower limit would be -9999. Or in Eric, in your case, you would leave that number alone, right? It's like that -1 with the E and the nines. You would leave that one
Yes.
alone. But our upper limit would be negative 1.05. And when you do that, you should get that number right there. So again, y'all, let me show you guys that on the calculator just again so we can make sure that we're good. So let me pull this up. Here we go. Okay, so we'd go second bars, normal CDF, -9999, comma, -1.05. And there it is, 14.69, right? If I round to 4 decimal places, double it,
Yes.
and then we come up with our answer, right? So good deal, good deal. Okay, so Christine, let me go ahead and let me see if I can pull up a problem from 5.2, and I'll paste that in my notes. So give me one quick second. Here we go.
Yeah, if we just do like one or two from 5.2, we can concentrate on 5.3 and 5.4 your next session.
Okay, that sounds.
Usually what I do with the homework is like when you first unlock it, I'll like run through it and see if I can just do any from the top of my head.
Yeah.
So if I and this one, like this whole section, I feel like I kind of just skipped through the whole thing. I was like, I don't know about any of that.
Yeah, yeah. So these, but what I okay. So let's put it this way. I know exactly what you're talking about because, like, when I'm preparing for a class, that's what I do, right? I'm like, okay, let me see which these problems that I know how to do off the top of my head, and then let me see which ones, like, oh, you know what? Because it's been, guys, I graduated from college with my master's like in 1998, so it's been a long, long time, right? So when I do the same thing, right? Like, okay, let me see how much of this I remember, or let me see what I need to go back and look through the book for. And like, oh yeah, I remember now. I do exactly the same thing you're doing. So look, let me show you. But what I'm hoping though now, Christina, as we've gone through those couple of problems from 5.1, do you feel like you could handle those better?
Yeah, now they make sense. Like when I just looked
Okay.
at them at first, it was like a different language, you know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Okay. So guys, this is a problem from 5.2. Let me show you how we're going to do this one. And so the problem here says, assume the random variable x is normally distributed with a mean of 50 and a standard deviation of 7. Find the indicated probability. Okay, so first thing, y'all, there's something called a z-score. What a z-score is going to do is it's going to convert the information we have back to this kind of picture that we've been drawing for the last couple of problems we did out of 5.1. So when it tells me in this particular problem how it says it's normally distributed, what we're going to do is we're going to make that info look kind of like this chart right here. Okay. So the way we do this, y'all, is there's a formula for the z-score. And the formula says z equals x minus mu over that sigma number. So the first thing I'm going to do here, y'all, is I'm going to say, look, here's my x number. So my x number is 43 minus, here's my mu number. That's 50. All of this is being divided by sigma, which in our case is 7. Okay. So look, we're going to go like this. We're going to say 43 minus 50, -7, divided by +7 is a -1. So first thing I'm going to do, y'all, anytime I have a problem like this, I'm going to convert it to a z-score. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, I'm going to rewrite this part here, but instead of me using x, I'm now going to use the variable z, because we took the x and we changed it to something where we could use those z numbers. And do you see right here how it has greater than? So I'm still going to put greater than, and the number we came up with was -1. Okay. So that's my second step. Now, y'all, my third step is going to be, look, now that we're dealing with the normal curve, let me draw my picture. Remember, right here in the middle, we have 0, and then we have 1 and 2 and 3. And over here, we have -1 and -2 and -3. The number that I'm really interested in this case, y'all, is -1, which is right here. And I want you to notice, look at the direction of the arrow. It's saying Z is bigger than -1. So what is it telling me to do? It's telling me, can I find the area to the right? Okay. And so now, just like the way we did the other problems, we have some options. If we're going to use our calculator, we would say, look, let's go with our normal CDF. What's my lower limit? Oh, it's -1. Since I'm coming all the way to the right, remember, I'm approaching the idea of infinity, I would go 99999, right? And I'll just do this real quick on my calculator so you can see what I'm not even going to share the screen with you guys. I'm just going to do it real quick. Second bars, normal CDF, we had -1, comma, and then a whole bunch of 9s. And let's see, the number that I'm coming up with is a 0.8413. Okay, so the number I'm coming up with is 0.8413. Now, Christine, a little while ago, you said that you liked doing the table better. So remember, if you were going to do the table, what we would really find is we would use the table, we would go to when Z equals -1, and the number that we would come up with there would be, give me 1 second and I'll tell you, the number that I would come up with here would be like a 0.1587. But because we're looking for the area, in this case, to the right, we would have to say, let's take 1 minus 0.1587 because the total area is 1, and that's how we would get that number right there. Okay? So let me ask you all a question. Guys, before I go on, am I making any sense on how I'm kind of walking you through the process and how to solve these things?
Yes.
Yeah, we're doing okay? So look, let me stop sharing this, and then I'm going to share the actual homework problem with us here. And okay, so here it is. And the number that we came up with was like a point something. I forgot already. 0.8413. So right here, y'all, I'm going to type in 0.8413, and I'm going to check my answer, and I got it right. And so really what I'm doing is I'm taking the information that I have that's given to me as a variable that's normally distributed, and I'm going to convert it to something that deals with like the z-score. So look, let me do one more, y'all, and I'm going to walk y'all through the process again, and then we'll see if this stuff is making any sense. And I'll let me tell you. Hold on, give me 1 quick second. I want to see. Here we go. Okay, I'm actually going to do this one. And the reason why I want to do this one, not because the other one is like harder or easier or anything, this one I actually think is a better problem to do because it is in the context of a word problem. Okay, so let me see. Go like this. And here we go. Okay, so let me copy this. Let me put this in my notes right here. There we go. Let's zoom in. Okay, and let me share this with you guys so y'all can see what it is I'm looking at. And give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to fill up my water glass, and I'll come back and we'll keep working it. Alrighty. Okay, so it says, in a recent study on world happiness, participants were asked to evaluate their current lives on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 represents the worst possible life and 10 represents the best possible outcome. It says the responses were normally distributed with a mean of 5.4. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here, y'all, my mean is 5.4, and my standard deviation is 2.5. Okay. Now, when I look at part A, it says find the probability that a randomly selected study participant's response was less than 4. Okay, so part A is telling me what's the probability that some person's response was less than 4. Okay, so remember what we said we're going to do, y'all. We're going to convert this to a z-score. And in the notes, y'all, for like this is 5.2. In the notes for 5.2, I give you guys the formula on how to do this part right here, okay? I'm just writing it down, but the formula is there for you guys. Okay, so look, we're going to go slow. We're going to say z is equal to x. My x number is 4, minus our sigma, which was 5.4, divided by, I'm sorry, my mu, which is 5.4, divided by sigma, which was 2.5. Guys, just to give you a heads up, if you do this on your calculator, you want to do that top part first, okay? So I'm going to do this on my calculator real quick. 5 minus 5.4 is negative 1.4, divided by 2.5 is, and the number that I'm coming up with is exactly a negative 0.56. Okay. So now my second step, where's my pen? Here we go. Part B is going to be, look, we're going to rewrite this, but instead of using x, we're going to use z. Okay. And since I'm using z, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw my picture. 0, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. The number that I'm really interested in is a negative 0.56, which is going to be somewhere right about here. And because it's less than, that tells me that I'm going to use I'm going to find the area to the left. Okay. And so again, remember what I would do, y'all. If I was going to go with my table, I would go to when z is equal to a negative 0.56. And because my table always tells me my area to the left, that's what I'm going to use. And if I was going to use my calculator, I would go second, and then bars, and we would go normal, CDF. Remember, my lower limit, since I'm all the way over here, that's negative infinity, so I would go negative at least 4 nines. And then my upper limit would be a negative 0.56. And either way I do it, we're going to come up with the same exact answer. Are we doing okay in how I'm explaining how we could do this problem here so far?
Yeah.
Eric
Yes.
and Christina, are we doing okay so far?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Christina, are we good too?
Yes.
Okay, just double checking with you guys. Okay, so guys, I'm just going to do this real quick on my calculator because I have one right here in front of me, just so that I don't have to, kind of keep switching screens. And we set a negative 0.56. Let's see, enter, enter, enter. And so the number that I came up with was 2.877. So let me see, right here I'm going to write 2.8877, and I'm going to stop sharing this with you guys, and I'm going to share the actual homework problem. Here we go. Okay, and the answer I came up with is 0.2877. I'm going to check it. All right, we got the first part done. Okay, now we're going to do the second part. So the second part says, let me copy this part for us. Let's see. Find the probability that a randomly selected study participant's response was between 4 and 6. Okay, so let me show you how I'm going to do this part here. And where are my notes? Here it is. And let me share my notes with you guys so y'all can see what I'm looking at. There we go. Okay, so it says find the probability that a randomly selected person's response was between 4 and 6. Okay, so for part B, what we're trying to do here, y'all, when it says between 4 and 6, it means that my X number is going to be between 4 and 6. So just like we did before, we're going to convert those to Z values, okay? So if you remember from before, I want to say that my mu was 5.4. I'm just going back and double checking that those are the numbers that we
Yes.
had. Yeah, and sigma was 2.5, right? Okay, it was 2.5. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to find two Z values, okay? We're going to find the Z value when X equals 4. And we're going to find, the Z value when X equals 6. But didn't we already do this one? Didn't we do this one in part A?
Yes.
Have you noticed that for y'all? Yeah, that's one that was the first one we did. And we came up with a negative 0.56. So I know that this answer here is already a negative 0.56. This is the only one I need to do now. So let me do this on my calculator. 6 minus 5.4 is 0.6 divided by 2.5. And I'm coming up with a 0.24.
Yes.
Okay. So really what we're trying to do here, y'all, is we're going to say, look, instead of my X being between 4 and 6, my Z is going to be between negative 0.56 and 0.24. So what does that really mean? That tells me, y'all, that when I look at my picture, here's my picture. And I know that's kind of an ugly picture, but you get the idea. 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. The two numbers that I'm really interested in are this one right here, the negative 0.56, and this one here, 0.24. And what we're trying to do is we want to find the area between those two numbers, because it said, between 4 and 6, and we converted that 4 and that 6 to those numbers. So again, y'all, if I'm going to do this using my calculator, I would go normal, CDF. Let's think about what our lower limit is. Oh, look, we're
Negative
starting right.
0.26.
You got it, my friend. What's our upper limit?
0.24.
You got it. You got it. Take it away. So we're going to go second bars. I'm just doing this here, y'all. I have a calculator here right by my desk. So I have negative 0.56, comma, oops. And then my second number was a 0.24. And I'm going to go enter, enter, enter. And the number that I'm coming up with is a 0.3071. Let's see. Before I go on, Christine, I know a little while ago you said that you like doing the table. Is the calculator getting any better in doing it on the calculator?
Well, I haven't really been practicing on this, like in this
Okay.
section, but
Let me ask you.
the last test that
Just
we
real
took.
quick, let me ask you a question. Like the way I wrote up that normal CDF with the negative 0.56 and the 0.24, does it seem to make sense though that, I mean, not necessarily like how you're going to enter the numbers in, but does it make sense how I'm coming up with those two numbers, the 0.56 and the 0.24, looking at my picture?
Yes.
Okay, so again, Christine, do you have an actual calculator or are you using one of the apps?
I'm using the app, but during the last test,
Uh-huh.
it was giving me problems, so I ended up just paying for it. So like the one I'm using now everything's unlocked. But I mean it's an app,
Okay.
but it's
And do you know which app? Is it the Graphing Calc 83? Which one is it?
let me see, I'll tell you now.
Okay. I'm just
It,
curious. I want to make sure that you can do this on whether you're using the app or an actual calculator. I want to make sure you can do it using it, so that, because otherwise, I mean, again, I'm not trying to say that the table is necessarily bad, but the table does take a little bit more time.
yeah, it's the Calculator X Pro version.
Calculator X Pro. Okay. So I'll tell you what, we're going to do this. So I'm gonna share my screen with you, and I want you to try this using the app. Okay. So look, let me stop sharing this, and let me come back over here, and let me share my calculator with you. So I know mine says TI-83 and all that kind of stuff, but it should look very similar. So Christine, on your calculator, when I want on the app, what I want you to do, I want you to hit the second button, and then the button that says VARS, VARS. It's this one right here. And then is the second one giving you something that says normal CDF?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and hit enter. Does your screen look like the way mine does right now?
Um, not ex not exactly. Like,
Okay,
yes and
does
no, because just
go ahead.
it does on the very top, but then there's almost like a little tab that comes out just to break it down. So it says like lower and upper, and then it shows the
Yes,
symbols of what it's supposed to
yes,
be.
yeah. Okay, so lower and upper is perfect. So
Okay.
remember what we said our lower number was? Wasn't our lower number a negative 0.56? When I drew my picture a little while ago, wasn't that my lower number?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay, and then comma, wasn't my upper number a 0.24?
Yes.
Okay, so now do me a favor, Christine. Go ahead and close off your parentheses right there, and then hit enter for me. And is that the number you're coming up with?
Mm, it says error.
Okay,
It's
let's see.
it's
Let's see.
probably the same screen as the one I have on the 84. So on
Yeah.
the
Okay,
lower, I
Christine, do me a favor. Can you take a screenshot of what you have on your either if you're doing this on a phone or whatever? I know you're doing the app. Can you take a screenshot and send it to me on Pronto so I can take a
Yeah.
look and see if I can figure out? Okay, go ahead and do that when you get a chance, and then we'll keep working. But look, guys, I'm coming up with 0.3071, right? Because I'm going to have to round that number there. So let me come back here and let me share my problem with you guys here. And here it is. And we came up with a point three, let's see, 0.3071, 0.3071. And I'm going to check it. And we got it. And then there is a part C. So let's do part C. And so part C here, y'all, I'm going to copy and paste this as well. Okay, so let me copy this here. And let me put this on my notes. Okay, Christine, I'm seeing your message coming in. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay. Let's see. All right, let me try something real quick here. All right. Give me 1 second, y'all. Here we go. Okay, I think this is coming up. And I think you guys can see this now. And Christine, I'm going to check something on my calculator because I think I have that same app on my phone. I think I do. Here we go. Or it looks at least very similar. That's not the one. Oh. Christine, do you have an Android or do you have like an iPhone?
An iPhone.
iPhone, okay. Let me see why can I get it. Calculate. Okay, Christine, can you do me a favor? Take a like go ahead and go second bars and do that normal CDF. But before you enter any numbers in, take a pic, do a screenshot then, and send that to me. And I think I can. I think I'll have a better idea of what's happening. Okay, so as you're doing that, let me go ahead and go through this problem here, y'all. So look what it says. Find the probability that a random selected study participant's response was more than 8. Okay, so it's telling me that X is more than 8. So again, y'all, we knew that our mu was 5.4. We knew our sigma was 2.5. We're going to convert this X value to a Z-score by using this formula. And so, let's see. Christine, I see your thing coming through. Let's see. Okay, so Christine, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. On the what you typed in, go ahead and type, so go to the normal CF, go ahead and put that negative 0.56, and then the comma 0.24, and then for the mu, let's see. For the mu, we're going to put a 0, and for the sigma, we're going to put a 1. So the way it's coming out on your calculator, Christine, it looks something like this. It goes normal, CDF, right? And so you're going to put 0.56, comma 0.24, and then I know you have these brackets, so we would try putting a 0 and then a 1, and then closing that off, and let's see if that one works. Okay. Let's see. Okay, sorry guys, I got a little distracted there. So let's come back here. Remember, my X is the number 8. This is 5.4. This is 2.5. So I'm going to do this part again. So let me see. 8 minus 5.4 is 2.6 divided by 2.5 is 1.04. So again, now I'm looking for the probability that Z is greater than 1.04. So again, y'all, when I draw my picture, and it looks something like that. Here's 0, here's 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. The number I'm interested in is 1.04, which is going to be right about there. And we're looking for the area to the right. Okay. So again, if I was going to do this on my calculator, y'all, what I would do is I would go normal, CDF, let's see, 1.04, and then my upper limit, if I'm going all the way to the right, remember we're going towards infinity, so I would use my 9s, and I'm going to try something, Christine. I have another calculator that's kind of similar to that. I want to see how it pulls it up on this one. Let me clear all this out. Second was normal CDF. I'm going to type in 1.04, comma, 9999. Yeah, it's giving me oh wait, let me see. Enter now. Okay. Let me try it again. Second was normal CDF. Okay. 1.04, comma, 9999. Okay. And I want to see if it's working out the same way. So I'm going to try it on my regular calculator. And 1.04. Yeah, it's working on my calculator. I have a different app as well, and I'm not having that same issue that you are having. But guys, what I came up with on this one was 0.1492. Eric, did you come up with the same number?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I got 0.149. Oh yeah, yeah. If I round
Yeah,
it, I got the
because
same.
the number after the one is so. Christine, is it working better now?
Yeah, it's working. I don't know. It's
Okay.
working.
Are you having to do anything like this here at all? Are you having to put the 0 and 1 in?
No. I tried to do it, but I couldn't find the brackets. But
Okay.
when I pressed enter again, it gave me an answer instead. I sent it to you.
Okay, you sent it to me again?
Yeah.
Okay, let me double check.
But
I
this
hadn't.
one, this problem, like I'll send you this problem right now. It gave me
Okay,
the same.
so you did the other one before, right? You did the one with the negative 0.56 and the 0.24? Yeah, so look
Yeah.
at the number so on your calculator, Christine, I'm looking at the screenshot you sent me. It was 0.307 and then 0.95.
Uh-huh.
So if you look at the number to the right of the 7, it's a 0, right? But the number to
Right.
the right of the 0 is a 9, so that 0 is going to become a 1. Does that make sense on how he
Yeah.
came up with it? Okay. Okay, good. Then you got it. Then it's working for you now. Yeah, so now you can do it on the app, and you don't have to worry about anything. You know what I mean? It's gonna come out nice and neat.
Yeah, actually when I go through the I mean, I can see why somebody would like to do it with the calculator. It's really, really easy without even having to look at a chart.
It's pretty straightforward, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, you know what? I mean, like I told you guys earlier, guys, when we got started, when I taught this class in person, fall of 19, I had, I'm 48, and I had students that were like 46 and 42, and some students in the 30s, and they were just like, not every, I don't know if when you guys got out of high school, but not everybody has had the experience of using like a graphing calculator. And so the younger students who've had that experience, they were like super cool with it. And then the students who have been out of high school like 10, 15 years, whatever it is, maybe more, they weren't as comfortable with it just because they hadn't had that experience. But I think once you kind of start messing with it, you're like, oh yeah, this is pretty easy to do. And guys, like I said, when you're going to, like to me, the time that I would probably use a table, if anytime it's asking me to find the area to the left, because the table does that, it's really easy to do. But if I'm looking for the area to the right, if I'm looking for the area between two pieces, I'm probably just going to use my calculator because this is going to be that much easier for me to do. But let me ask you a question. So we went through a few problems from 5.1. We went through some from 5.2. And y'all, I sent a video out earlier today, and it was a problem from 5.2 that somebody had asked, and it was actually number 5. I'm trying to think which is the one that I was doing right now. Let me see if I can pull it up. Which one was okay? So the one that I was doing right now, y'all, with y'all, was number 4. Actually, before we leave, let me stop sharing this and let me share the actual homework problem because we hadn't finished it off yet. And so for the last answer, we came up with something like 0.1492. So right here, I'm going to type in 0.1492, and we'll check our answer. And yeah, we got it right. But yeah, y'all, the problem that I sent out earlier today was, I haven't completed the question. Okay, let's see. All right, let's take a look. Do we have any unusual events? Okay, and it says unusual events are because the probability is going to be smaller than 0.05. So the first thing I'm going to look at, do any of those numbers right here, I'm sorry, that number, and that number, are any of those numbers smaller than 0.05? And I would say no, none of them are. So then we would go with choice C. There are no unusual events because all the probabilities are greater than 0.05. So it's the only time it's going to be considered unusual, y'all, is if the number is smaller than 0.05. So look, let me check my answer, and we got it. Okay. The one that I sent out today, y'all, was I sent out a video today, and it was for number 5. Okay. So I did send you guys a video on how to do number 5. So I'll tell you what, like I said, between now and next Thursday, start looking at the stuff from like 5.3 and 5.4, and then this way